This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by Liam Cameron here in Birmingham. Liam, it's good to see you. How are you feeling? How's life been since your time out in Riyadh?
It's been alright, bang same to be fair, not much changed. Been fishing a bit more and that's it really.
You seem so kind of relaxed on the back of what was a huge night, just in somewhat controversial or weird circumstances. When you say your life hasn't changed and life's the same, is that you just putting it down, or is it genuinely just as it was prior to the fight with Ben Whittaker?
It's just another fight, innit? It's not going to change my life. The mission's still to get me house. I've not got that yet, so the journey continues.
Before we do come on to what's next for yourself, let's just go back to that night. A bit more time to reflect on the fight, your performance. What do you make now you've had an extra few weeks to assess everything?
I believe I were robbed. Everyone said it. I watched the fight back so many times. Even if you get him first two, which second one were close, which I had me edging it, he lost, innit? I don't know how they come up with a draw, but it is what it is. It's caused some big rage online, hasn't it? People calling him the Whittaker now and stuff like that. Don't bother me, to be fair. It is what it is. If we get rematch or we don't, I'm not bothered.
I've seen a lot of the comments online, some of those posts, the graphics. I know you've somewhat prodded the bear a little bit with a few of your own, so you put like a Where Wally's type post out about Ben. Do you, when you look back on that fight and how it was progressing, are you adamant, especially having watched it back, if it had continued, you would have stopped him?
Oh, 100% would have stopped him on that night. I weren't out of first gear. The plan were always to put it on him more. As you saw, I got stronger and stronger every round, up the pace, and it weren't even 50%, which I'm quite shocked by because it were unravelling. He was so tired. And going back to prodding Ben, I've just got him back for what it's a bit of karma for himself. Putting these stuff out, what I've said and stuff, it's karma. He ripped me fight week and I always said, I'm going to get you back, make you pay. I made him pay in the ring and out of the ring now.
You mentioned earlier on, and you mentioned it on the night of the fight after it had all finished, that you felt like, and you were surprised by how weak he felt and how he seemed to be tiring early on. Now, obviously Ben hasn't spoken to anyone since the fight. He may have had some stuff going on in the week. Obviously Matt Macklin has said that he was surprised by some of his training routines that he saw during the week as well. Do you feel like if a rematch was to happen, you would see a far better version of Ben Whittaker, one which might be further prepared, or do you feel like in your own mind you have his number now?
Definitely have his number. There's nothing he can change in the amount of time the rematch gonna happen. Just say it happens in 2 to 6 months. What's he gonna change? He can get best trainers. He's had Emmanuel Stewart's nephew. Is it Sugar Hill? He's had the guy what took AJ on pads. Is it Jobe? He's had him. He's had this big GB funded setup. He's boxed all these Russians. He won an Olympic silver medalist. So he's not going to really change, is he? I'm only going to get better because I've only been back a year boxing. So if anyone's going to improve, it's going to be me.
A lot of people could look at it as well, Liam, whilst we wait to see what does happen in terms of a potential rematch, is Ben's hand might be forced a little bit because people will want to see that rematch now. And as with anybody in boxing, it could be any fighter out there, but if he was to have a result like that and the controversy around it, there's going to be pressure on him to take the rematch. Are you confident we see Whittaker Cameron 2 next?
I think there's so many scenarios because they haven't spoke out. If it were me, I would have spoke out straight away and told the truth. There's a scenario, isn't there? Either could pack in, might not be able to angle it, all this stuff, because he was quite liked, weren't he? And it's crazy how many messages I'm getting. But it's great. I told him at press conference, you've done it all yourself. Everything you've said, the disrespect, he's done it all himself.
As you said, Ben's been quite quiet since the fight. We haven't really heard much off of him. Do you feel like there's a rematch which will happen? Have you had conversations with your team?
No, I'm sat with Lee now, and I ain't mentioned now. I don't even know what the deal is with Frank Warren yet. I'm so laid back, do you know what I mean? I just let people do it for me. I'm quite lazy, to be fair. So whatever they say, I agree. Whatever it is, so if it's fighting, I'm not going to call names out, but the top of the list, Yard, if he says, oh, you're fighting Yard next, I'm just going to say yeah. And that's what I'm like.
I mean, I'm going to ask as well, then, Liam, away from all things Ben Whittaker and potential fights out there, are there any names which tickle your fancy, if you will? And you mentioned Anthony Yard there. A few people were quite critical of his most recent performance a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I think Yard's a very good fighter. Very strong, very powerful. The guy just were able to take his power last time. The next guy might not be able to, but nah, it's not my style calling people out. Not bothered. I'm looking forward to a brighter 2025.
I know when you returned, you said your minimum goal, if you was, and one thing you wanted was to win that British title, then ideally you'd win it outright. Given how this year's ended, how confident or how much more confidence do you have in yourself you can achieve that goal, whether it be next year or at some point in these remaining years of your career?
Yeah, definitely. There's something wrong if I can't win the British title. No disrespect to people. I've been working so hard. This is 25 years of hard work, and I'm only just starting now to reap the rewards, the sponsorship deals, the people following me on Instagram. I had 2,000 followers 3-4 weeks ago. I've now got 30,000, floods of messages. I've never had this, and yeah, I'm enjoying it, to be fair.
Liam, just away from yourself, get your thoughts on a couple of other topics. Obviously, you've got a campmate, Chantelle Cameron, returning on Saturday night. What are you expecting to see from her?
She's a Cameron, isn't she? She's a Cameron, so she's good. She's quite similar style to me, to be fair. She likes to work body. She tucks up good. She's a good fighter. I'm a fan of Chantelle Cameron, even before she were at the gym. So we're all supporting. There's Mikhail as well on from our gym. He's a good fighter, can punch like mad. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Also, just want to get your thoughts as well on Sonny no longer being a part of the gym, but he's going into a big fight with Galal Yafai. Might not have Grant Smith in his corner, but how do you fancy his chances in that fight?
Sonny's got to be favourite, hasn't it? I don't really. I haven't really watched Galal. I know he comes forward, throwing bombs, but that's going to suit Sonny down to the ground. I think it's a risky fight for Galal at this stage of his career. He's jumped a lot of ships, jumping up in level. I don't know, I think Sonny's got to be comfortable in that one.
Just final one to end on and bring it back to yourself, Liam. The deal with Frank Warren. How much did that mean to you, and how excited are you for the future ahead? And I know you said you haven't really spoken to Lee about the deal, but what do you know? What can you tell us about a plan which Frank wants to try and engineer for you?
I just know that Frank Warren is the godfather of boxing. I used to watch the guy on TV, and I was telling my dad on way down here, these people what are like now supporting me, I've watched these for years on telly, and now for them to be a part of this team, it's unbelievable, innit? Words can't describe. It's a big steps in my life to progressing somewhere.
Well, Liam, listen, I appreciate your time. I'll leave you to enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy commentary duties as well, something new for you. And yeah, I look forward to a career update. Thank you for speaking to me on Boxing News.
Thanks again for your time, it means a lot.